As a teenager, I used to feel pressured to fit into social trends. I used to try and have like hair in my face, like like the Gen Z cut, the fringe, and I'd wear the like obnoxious, loud, graphic T-shirts and clothing like that. And I found it took a lot more effort to get people's attention and respect. Then I reinvented myself. I started getting haircuts. I wore finer clothing, and suddenly I noticed how my appearance instantly attracted more attention. Now, I'm not saying you need to wear a three-piece suit every single day, but what I am saying is that if you're a young man and you're looking to stand out with your appearance and be taken seriously as a leader, you should definitely consider the three appearance tips that I'm about to give you that helped me earn more attention and respect. But before we go any further, we have to address why would a man want attention? And this is where we have to separate the ideas of attention and validation. As leaders, we need attention because attention means we can be able to get someone's respect. If we can't gain anyone's respect, then we can't lead a team or an organization to success. What we don't need is validation. We don't need yes men to make ourselves feel better about ourselves, and we don't need the attention of other people to try and impress them. We don't carry ourselves to impress people, we carry ourselves to tell other people who we are. This is why I made that thumbnail, because when I see people in public walk out with messy hair, hoodies, and sweatpants and slippers on, it immediately tells me that this person just didn't care about their appearance at all. They didn't put any effort into their own public appearance, and therefore, why should I care about their own efforts regarding other aspects of their life? And unfortunately, these could be highly successful and intelligent and skilled people, but just because of my first impression and their appearance, I immediately had a different reception to them. And not just me, this is how most people see your style, and this is why I'm making this video. So let's dive into the three appearance tips that helped me become a more masculine leader. Number one, just shave. If we're being completely honest, most men about 18 to 24 can't grow good facial hair. They don't have the genetics, and for the some that do that are in that age demographic, it's very rare. Usually you see men with good facial hair that are about like 25 or older, which is why some of the best advice that I can give you is just shave it. I recently had to accept this fate that my facial hair just didn't grow well. It was too patchy and it caused me to look a little too juvenile. So I decided I'm only keeping my mustache because this is the only facial hair that I have that grows well. If you have healthy testosterone like myself, you're most likely going to be growing facial hair every single day. You're going to be growing stubble or, some patchiness. So my best advice to you is like the classic gentleman habit that you may want to put into your morning routine every day of just shaving every single day. If you take a look and notice, most top world leaders walk around with a clean shaven face. You rarely see world leaders with facial hair because they know the appeal of the classic gentleman's look of a clean shaven face. And there's nothing wrong with facial hair. The only problem is that most people, honestly, can't grow it. So a cleaner look will honestly be doing you more service to enhance your masculine image than a patchy beard. A clean face will look more masculine and demand more attention and respect than a face that looks like it belongs to a teenager going through puberty. Alright, so number two, fix your hair. This might sound hypocritical because I have long hair, but short hair is usually the best look on a man. I get haircuts about like every 3 weeks just to maintain the length on the sides and the back of my hair, which this is what I recommend that most men do with their hair. But the only reason I have longer hair right now is, well, it does kind of look good. But second, also just because I wanted to experiment how other people react. Kind of like this idea of this whole video. How do other people react to younger men with longer hair? And for the most part, younger men with longer hair typically shows a sign of youth, especially when it's not well maintained or it's got more of this messy look. Like if you look at my hair, it's combed, it's washed, it's cleaner. But right now, what's trending is a more messy. Like you'll see curly mullets and fringes covering the face and all that. So this is why I say usually long hair is a symbol of youth. I think it's really only done well when it's maintained and properly cared for and styled. Trendy and fad styles like like I mentioned, like mullets and wolf cuts and all these new things that are what young men are wearing kind of just show like hint of rebellion and youth. And there's nothing wrong with expressing yourself. It's just when you want to be taken seriously, more seriously as a mature adult masculine leader professional, you won't want to be seen in a suit or more formal clothing with long, like flowy hair. It just rarely ever works well. Like beards, Longer hair is more masculine in the classic sense of like the Greek god image and stuff. But it's also got that risk, like I said, that most people can't really pull it off. I think people that do pull it off well are people like Jason Momoa, who literally have the build, they have the good beard genetics, and they have like the long hair that complete that classic godlike build. But they also still suffer from that same fate of when they put on more formal attire. They have longer hair and it just doesn't look as clean and as well maintained as men with shorter hair. And I'm even suffering from this myself. Like even with like this tapered middle part, I still kind of look like just a teenager, which is why I can't wait to cut my hair, but I have to wait for this experiment to be finished. So once again, this is why I recommend you look at world leaders and top businessmen and like the top men in the media. I don't really want to say media, but like, the top masculine leaders, military, political, business. They're rarely ever seen with longer hair. Like even in the military, it's a standard for all men to when they get in there just to buzz their hair. And I think some of the styles and traditions of that you see like in the military and politicians are generally applicable to most men who want to achieve that classic masculine look and be taken more seriously in their leadership. Because, like I said, I used to have that way more juvenile look with my hair, and it wasn't until I took it out of my face. Like most men just had to accept that taking your hair out of your face is the number one thing that will enhance your appearance. But taking my hair out of my face, like taking a comb to it, a brush, product, all that stuff, that helped me a lot. And I think if more young men started taking more serious care of their hair and not falling into this trap of like modern trendy styles, they'd look a lot better and they'd be able to enhance that authority that they can get from their appearance. And number three, dress more refined. Like I said, this doesn't mean walking around in a three-piece 24/7, but start looking into more classic and simple clothing. You can still express yourself with your style if you want to. More masculine clothing doesn't necessarily mean boring. I highly recommend a channel like Real Men Real Style for really good clothing advice. As you update your wardrobe to be of a more classic masculine style, you may start to notice that your confidence goes up and therefore ultimately helping you get more respect and demand more attention. Like I said, again, let's look at like world leaders and top businessmen. You'll often see politicians and people holding executive powers or like anything like political power wearing suits nonstop. Congressmen, presidents, even just like secretaries, they're always wearing a suit. But as you get more into like the business side, you'll see people like Jeff Bezos, or even when Steve Jobs was around, they had this more business casual attire. But my point is, stay away from flashy and more feminine designs in your clothing. There's a reason things like the suit and classic clothing have remained in men's wardrobes for over 100 years because they're timeless and they enhance the figure and the silhouette of the man. And especially with things like a tie, there's just you can't go wrong. So in conclusion, we talked about shaving, getting a haircut, and dressing better. These are the three things that I felt really helped me, and I think if you try them and if you're not already trying them, you're going to notice just a drastic shift in the way that you carry yourself and the way people notice you. If you enjoyed this video and you found it helpful, I highly recommend you check out our community, Men's Group Wellness and Betterment. It's where we help young men on their path to masculine leadership.